Good afternoon. I will call to order the policy session for Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilman Galindo Elvira.
Here.
Councilwoman Guardado.
Here.
Councilwoman Hodge Washington.
Here.
Councilwoman O'Brien.
Here.
Councilwoman Pastor. Councilman Robinson. Councilman Waring.
Here.
Vice Mayor Stark.
Here.
Mayor Gallego.
Here. We'll begin with council information and follow-up requests. Councilman Galindo Elvira, do you want to go first? Then he'll be followed by Councilwoman Hodge Washington.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week I had the opportunity of meeting with Daniel and Ben of Southeast Asian Arts Alliance. The Southeast Asian Arts Alliance is a nonprofit organization that promotes Southeast Asian arts, including Muay Thai, Muay Lo, and other traditional arts from Southeast Asia region. Their youth program consists of fundamental character building, life skills, and an alternative path to success. SAAA is committed to preventing disconnected youth and providing a safe place to develop strength and discipline. The Parks Department held the PAC Park Dreams competition, and it was great seeing all of the amazing models that the kids created and their creativity with envisioning the park of their dreams. I was proud to see many entrants from District 7. I want to thank former Mayor Terry Goddard for inviting me to experience the renovations of the Monroe Street Abbey. It was great to see this D7 historic site brought back to life and to be of use for generations to come. As always, if you live in District 7 and want to contact me, it's easy. You can reach out through any of the methods on the screen. I'm here to serve you and greatly value your feedback.
Thank you so much, Councilman. We'll go next to Councilwoman Hodge Washington and then Councilwoman Guardado.
Thank you, Mayor. May has been a very full month, and I want to highlight just a few of the things happening around District 8. I was honored to join my colleagues to unveil a historical marker for Officer David Starr Johnson on the 80th anniversary of his death. Johnson was killed in the line of duty, becoming the second officer to be killed while performing his duties as an officer, and honoring him was a moving moment. Also, residents at Hope 6 and the Emmett McLaughlin Community Center Training and Education Center now have free state-of-the-art computer access and training. I'm grateful that not only the housing department commitments, but to our partners to their valued support. I know the families there will enjoy the amenities, including the virtual reality setup. Congratulations to all of this year's Outstanding Youth Leadership Award winners, but a very special thank you and congratulations to Ariana Smith and Iris Shatta from District 8. Sitting with these impressive youth, I was truly impressed with their accomplishment, and I'm looking forward to our future leaders and innovators. Next slide. Special congratulations also goes out to the graduates of the South Mountain High School. I was honored to be invited to the Black Student Union as their graduation commencement speaker. I hope my words of encouragement will carry them into their next chapter. I also had a great time serving at this year's Phoenix Neighborhood Patrols Luncheon and wish them a happy 30th. This dedicated group of residents are the protectors of their neighborhood, and they faithfully serve our community, so it was so nice to be able to serve them. Next slide. I also joined our partner, St. Vincent de Paul, for a ribbon-cutting ceremony to mark the new DePaul Manor, which will add 100 new transitional housing beds for unhoused seniors, veterans, and adults living with disability. The City of Phoenix and Maricopa County and the state of Arizona each invested $6 million into the project, and it is scheduled to open this summer. Thai Chili To Go offers fresh and affordable dining options with its unique brand of authentic food to Levine, and it held its official ribbon cutting grand opening in my district. Also, the Streets Department hosted a ceremonial street name unveiling to recognize boxing legend Michael Carbajal. It was most likely one of the department's most well-attended unveilings, and it was great to see the pride and love the community has for their own in the heart of my district. Next slide. The Streets Department hosted a well-attended community meeting for the McDowell Road Revitalization Project. I look forward to seeing the results of the community's input on that. I want to close with two others. The East Lake Bike Rodeo was full of young bicyclists who all received free helmets, bicycles, and great safety tips. And last but not least, I had tons of fun at the Boards for Barrio, where kids got to trade in their old skateboards for a new one. I got to see a lot of very young, talented, and up-and skateboarders. Next slide. So upcoming, we want to know, how do you do 602? Celebrate 602 Day with us on Sunday, June 2nd from 9 a.m. to noon at the southwest corner of 24th Street and Broadway. Enjoy a vibrant farmers market, tasty food, live performances, and a variety of city and community resources. Let's come together as a community and show some love for the 602. Next slide. That's all I have, Mayor. As always, do not hesitate to reach out if you need any help with city services or notice an issue in your neighborhood. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. We'll go next to Councilwoman Guardado and then the Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to all of our graduates. You did it. You should be so proud. With school ending for the year, District 5 is kicking off summer with multiple activities for the families starting this Saturday, May 25th. First, Summer Splash Bash at Homestead Park, 2602 West Glendale Avenue, will be this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be a fun, free family event with water balloons, inflatable water slides, music, snacks, and more. Then free family fun day at all District 5 pools on opening day, Saturday, May 25th, Memorial Day weekend. On top of free admission for the children, adult admission will also be paid for by my office. So parents, please join your children for a day of relaxation and fun for the whole family. Our pools are Starlight Pool, 79th Avenue in Osborne, Washington Pool, 23rd Avenue in Maryland, Maryville Pool, 51st Avenue in Campbell. And finally, our splash pads will also open this Saturday through early October. They will operate from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and are open every day of the week. We now have 3 incredible splash pads in District 5, Dust Devil Park, 107th Avenue in Camelback, El Oso Park, 75th Avenue in Osborne, Mariposa Park, 31st Avenue in Orangewood Avenue. It's going to be a great summer. Everyone, please be safe, and parents, don't forget to watch your children around the water. It only takes seconds. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say happy birthday to my favorite marathon man, Zach Wallace. Happy birthday. Thank you.
Happy birthday. Any additional updates, or it's hard to beat that one? All right. With that, then we will go to our agendized item, and I'll turn to our city manager to introduce the budget.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Good afternoon, and it is a pleasure to be here again today. Today, Amber Williamson, Budget and Research Director, and I have a very brief presentation for you concerning the 24-25 operating budget. Today's vote is really what allows us to start the procedural legal adoption process. But I think more importantly, what today demonstrates is your commitment to strong and responsible fiscal stewardship. And that fiscal stewardship will be on full display as we move forward in the next couple of years following this. As we've talked about at great length, we are aspiring to preserve the continuity of vital city services in the face of adverse action by the state of Arizona, who are taking away from us roughly $100+ million on an ongoing basis annually. And this budget that you've put forward today gives us a fighting chance at being able to withstand the loss of that revenue and to ensure that these vital services that our residents have come to depend on will be there in their hour of need. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to Amber Williamson for the full presentation.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the council, and Phoenix residents. Pleased to be here to present and ask for action today to adopt the 24-25 city manager's budget. Going over our general fund budget, as you know, we do have a projected one-time surplus for next fiscal year of $80 million. However, because of the state's actions to make ongoing revenue cuts through Senate Bills 1131, that eliminates residential rental sales tax effective January of 25, and Senate Bill 1828, that reduced the individual income tax rate to the current flat tax, resulting in millions of dollars of ongoing revenue reductions, we do have baseline general fund budget deficits projected in fiscal 26 of 92 million, and again in fiscal 27 of 31 million. And because we are required to adopt a balanced budget every year, our city manager is proposing to set aside that $80 million one-time surplus and not spend it. We want to make sure we preserve the services Phoenix residents have come to rely on every day. We also want it to be in the fund balance as Budget and Research constructs the fiscal 25-26 budget. We also know we are going to have ongoing operating costs from the voter-approved general obligation bond program. We did forecast those costs in the multi-year forecast I presented to you on February 27th, but we want to make sure resources are available as we go forward. Residents can also see more information about our bond program at Phoenix.gov/bond. We did ask residents to comment on the budget. We did that through 11 budget hearings held April 2nd through the 16th. We also had residents comment directly to Budget and Research and use the Fund Phoenix tool. We heard support for programs and services. However, we know that residents that did participate in the budget engagement process, they want more services, not less. In total, we received 371 comments from 173 residents. Also, all input is included on our website at Phoenix.gov/budget, including hearings of the budget, videos of the budget hearings we held, as well as all voicemails and written comments that we received. Included in the proposed budget are 30 critical positions that are needed for both the general fund and non-general fund. We do not need additional funding for these positions. Resources have already been identified in department existing budgets. These are for primarily converting temporary positions to ongoing for departments and functions including communications, neighborhood services, council, finance, public works, police, and planning and development. So next steps after today, we'll come back to the council for our legally required budget adoption steps. May 29th will be tentative budget adoption, June 12th will be final budget adoption, and then July 1st, property tax levy adoption. That does conclude the presentation, and council, we are asking for action to approve the city manager's proposed 24-25 budget.
Wonderful, thank you. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Yes, thank you. I move that we approve the fiscal year 2024-25 city manager budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions? All right. Then we will go to public comment. We will start with virtual comment with Teresa Hill, followed by Evelyn Castillo.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I've never been involved in the city budget before, and I'm glad my heart for the homeless has, especially for the seniors. It got me involved, and I've learned a lot, and I thank you for that opportunity. I did notice on attachment A that it says community feedback on the proposed budget is a critical component, and I was hoping at least one of those recommendations would have made it into this final request. I understand the need for savings, but some of that fund is needed for the people, and we've invested in the homeless, but there are still thousands in needs. A good investment for the city of Phoenix is helping prevent from being homeless, to be proactive and prevent the homeless from being evicted. And I ask for more counsel and legal aid to help these people stay in their homes or in a safe place, especially the seniors. It is expected to surge in their needs. So I thank you for your time in helping the homeless. And I give a special thanks out there for our police and our firefighters. They risk themselves for us. I pray for protection over them for all they do. Thank you.
Thank you. Evelyn will be next, followed by Joanne Branch. Evelyn, I can hear you. Okay, there you are. Evelyn, the floor is yours. Okay, why don't we go to Joanne Branch?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
I'm so sorry. There's a few members who are joining online who are having trouble jumping onto the WebEx. So I've just been helping them join. There's a total of like 10 other members who are joining virtually who couldn't make it in person, unfortunately. So I just really wanted to recognize them as well. I'm not sure if they'll be able to join and share their stories, but just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, my name is Evelyn Castillo. I am the field organizer for Take Back Our Homes campaign. I'm actually here today to share one of our members' story. Her name is Drina Gordon. She is 52, residing in Phoenix. She's actually unable to work due to disability that she's been going through for the past 4 years. In 2020, she actually, through the pandemic, faced an eviction. Her and her husband and her entire family got sick with COVID and were unable to work, therefore unable to make rent. And so she was unaware of any legal assistance available to her, and she is still currently struggling with housing. And so she is wanting to show up today to state that she supports the Take Back Our Homes campaign and advocating for more funding for Right to Counsel program. And that's why we're here today. And so with my community pleading for allocating funds for legal representation to help slow down eviction cases is what she wanted to state today. So I just wanted to also make that clear that there's a few more of us that are still trying to log on to share our stories. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Joanne is next, followed by Cindy.
Hi. Hello. My name is Joanne Branch, and I'm here in regards to Take Back Our Homes. I was illegally evicted due to my abuser lying that I was involved in a crime. I told them it's not true. They told me they needed proof. Unfortunately, the truth came after the eviction. I had to go to criminal court first, where all charges were dismissed because it was based on lies. Then the property wanted to move me back in after the fact. And that took months. So it left me homeless for a while. While homeless, I realized I just needed someone to represent me so that the truth can be told in the eviction court. I was so upset because I was not able to talk to the judge, which made me feel sad. I had no right, and so I'm here, and we demand funding for a right to counsel program so that our voices can be heard in eviction court. Thank you.
Cindy is next, followed by Gloria. Nope. All right. Gloria is next, followed by Bronny. No. Okay, no audio. Bronny is next, followed by Nancy. Same thing? Okay. We'll go then to Guadalupe, followed by Ben in person. We do have Nancy? All right, we'll go Nancy.
Oh, shit. Oh, wait. Oh, damn. It won't.
Okay, Nancy, we heard you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. The floor is yours, please.
Oh, thank you. Hi, thank you for your patience. My name's Nancy Palmer. Thank goodness for the Take Back Our Homes campaign. If it weren't for them helping me get right to counsel through community legal services, we would have been evicted in March with $10,000 in fines for paying our rent on time because we didn't sign what was a bogus lease. The Rights and Responsibilities Act, responsibility all on the tenants responsibilities on landlords and homeowners is zero. Okay, they get to kick us out whenever we want, however they want. We need right to counsel. Because of Brett Rasner from Community Legal Services, we were able to just get a notice to vacate, still stay in the home for 45 days, and only have to pay $4,900 in fines and whatnots. And now we're living in a hotel, hoping that another apartment complex will accept our application after my son just gave him $300. So we need right to counsel now to stop these housing investors from keeping people priced out of their homes. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. We'll go Guadalupe Anaya, aquí, and then Ben Laughlin.
Sigue Guadalupe Anaya en persona.
Hola, buenas tardes. Yo soy Guadalupe Anaya y estamos aquí. Tenemos la campaña del presupuesto del pueblo.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Guadalupe Anaya. We're here for the campaign Presupuesto del Pueblo, or the People's Budget.
Estamos aquí para ver si ustedes tomaron en cuenta nuestras demandas. Queremos que pongan una estación de agua fuera del edificio del Centro Comunitario de Maribel.
And we also want you to take into account our demands. We want you to put water stations outside of the community center there in Maryville.
Que extiendan el servicio de apoyo para el calor hasta las 10 p.m. para las personas que no tienen casa y puedan estar seguros del calor.
And we also want you to extend the service hours for support because of the heat up to 10 p.m. for people that are homeless, don't have a home, and that way they can be safe from the heat.
Queremos que financien permanentemente un programa de servicios legal para las personas que sufren desalojo, incluyendo personas sin estatus legal.
We also want for you to provide or finance a permanent program for services, legal services for people who are going through eviction, including people for people who have a legal status problem.
Y no queremos que los 27 millones de dólares vayan a la policía porque ellos no son nuestra seguridad.
And we don't want the $27 million to go to the police because they are not our safety.
Por eso estamos aquí. Gracias.
That's the reason why we're here. Thank you.
Ben is next, followed by Andrea Luna Cervantes.
Hi, my name is Ben Laughlin. I'm a resident of District 7. I'm here today to speak in opposition to the proposed budget, specifically the proposed $27 million increase in general funds to the police department. Throughout the past several years, we've talked to y'all repeatedly about how budgets are a reflection of values. Despite what city leadership says publicly, budget documents tell us what y'all are really about. And once again, these values documents paint a really heartbreaking picture for the future of working class and poor Phoenix residents, particularly unsheltered folks, people of color, and immigrants without legal status. Right now, you're actively pushing unsheltered and low-income residents further and further away from downtown Phoenix while providing little to no resources to support the people you're pushing out and the neighborhoods you're pushing them into. Rather than be the courageous, innovative city you claim to be, you continue to pour billions of dollars into a strategy for public safety that relies on disappearing and displacing people you consider problems. Rather than acknowledging you're continuously creating the conditions that result in suffering, crisis, and violence, you use police as a tool to hide your failures and then call it crime. Instead of $27 million from the general fund for police, we need those funds to go to resources that actually support the health, safety, and stability of Phoenix residents. You have an opportunity in this budget cycle to make that happen. If you value the lives of Phoenix residents, use those $27 million in general funds for things that will actually keep people alive. Things like water stations and heat relief centers with expanded hours in the neighborhoods you're pushing people into, specifically Maryville. And rather than continuing to patchwork together grants and ARPA leftovers, use those general funds to provide a permanent, sustainable funding source for a right to counsel program for families facing eviction, and make sure it includes people without legal status. Phoenix police have killed 2 people in just this month. Their names were Christopher Tavares and Devin Montgomery. Today also marks 4 years since Ryan Whitaker was shot in the back by Phoenix police with his hands up in the air. If you vote to increase the police department budget today, you're doing that with their blood on your hands and the blood of the countless future others who will be killed by this department. Please don't forget that. Thank you.
Andrea is next, followed by Darren.
Hi, my name is Andrea Luna Cervantes. I'm a community organizer with the Take Back Our Homes campaign. I'm calling on the council to include funding for a Right to Counsel program for our people and our community in the 2024-2025 budget. It's amazing that funding has been located to go into housing from ARPA funding for this budget cycle. However, preventative measures needs to be taken so people can stay in their homes. Solely investing in housing does not solve the problem. Ensuring people have an attorney at eviction court allows for a more fair and humane process for renters. When renters have a fair chance, evictions drop. I urge you to use these funds to continue to address the housing crisis, especially as the state continues to kick the can down the road. Money from the general funds need to be allocated to a Right to Counsel program. It was a top item advocated from community during budget hearings these past couple of weeks. We need to listen to what people are saying and asking in need. Investing in our community, period, is what needs to happen with this budget, and it doesn't seem to exist. We need a Right to Counsel and investments in the community like water stations and heat relief. I hope everyone on this council directs this money to critical community resources. Thank you for your time.
Darren is next, followed by Colton.
Hi, my name is Darren Jezik. I'm with the Take Back Your Homes Committee. This is kind of ridiculous to have to beg for a place to live. You would think that it's a human right or something. Back in February, the Attorney General, Chris Mays, sued RealPage and 9 residential landlords for an illegal price-fixing conspiracy. I wonder how long it's been going on, and I'm quite sure it's been a very long time, and I'm sure it's going on all over the country. You all knew rent prices have been out of control, out of control. And you didn't do anything about it. You knew for even longer that landlords and their attorneys were evicting tenants left and right. What would you expect when a tenant can barely afford rent, let alone legal counsel? And you didn't do anything about it. You and others talk about homeless situations when you have created it by doing nothing. Human beings, got that? Human beings are fighting for a place to live at a fair price. Until you get off your butts, it's going to be worse. And are you going to allow it to get worse when you can start doing something about it now? The BS has got to stop. Human beings are really getting fed up, especially when we have to beg for a decent place to live for a fair price. It's way past time for you to do something about it. You are neglecting human beings and allowing them to be put out on the streets. It's affecting mental and physical health and security, and that really sucks. And that's why we really need to be a major part of this budget and permanently fund the Right to Counsel. It is way past time to start doing something right for a change and fight for the little guy and make law enforcement do better with less. Thank you.
Colton is next, followed by Jessica Bueno.
Mayor and members of the council, today I stand before you with pressing concerns for the state of West Phoenix along the Glendale Avenue corridor. We are witnessing a troubled rise in homelessness and blatant drug use on our streets in our alleyways, and we cannot let up on our efforts in progress to continue to help our citizens and keep our neighborhoods safe. We cannot ignore the impact of rampant drug use in our neighborhoods. It affects not only those directly involved, but also poses a threat to public safety and the well-being of our communities. I drive along 39th Avenue on a daily basis and notice individuals that are blatantly consuming drugs with their belongings scattered around them in La Pradera Park. In the evening, children are playing soccer at the same park with the same individuals continue with this conduct. This week, multiple emergency vehicles surrounded a bus stop on Glendale Avenue where a man appeared to be deceased. In addition to that, the near-permanent group of transients by Circle K off of Glendale Avenue and this I-17 are always slumped over, folded in half, high on drugs. Seeing this on a daily basis begins to take a toll. There are days when I feel that the neighborhood will never get better. I find myself saying I have no faith in my community, but I refuse to feel defeated. This is why I'm here, to speak up and represent those that have become apathetic or have simply given up. This is why I urge you to join me in advocating for additional funding for both law enforcement and homelessness resources. We must bolster our police force to effectively combat drug-related crimes and create a security, allocate resources for increased patrols, specialized units targeting drug trafficking, and community outreach programs aimed at prevention and rehabilitation, invest in comprehensive homelessness resources that offer not only temporary shelter but also long-term solutions. These issues are complex, but they are not insurmountable. Let's stand together and demand the support and funding for additional police enforcement, homeless solutions needed to address these critical issues. Thank you.
Jessica is next, followed by Alma.
Good afternoon, Council and Mayor Gallego. My name is Jessica Bueno. I live in District 7, and I'm also the Green and Clean Campaign Specialist for Chispa, Arizona. Chispa, Arizona, as you may know, is an environmental justice organization where we focus organizing in West and South Phoenix. I'm here today to speak about the city's budget and also in support of the Pueblo's budget as well. When we're talking about water access, we are advocating for access to water in public spaces like parks, libraries, and other city-owned buildings. Water fountains with access to cold water should be ideal, but also having water bottles available will save lives. And also extending the hours for the heat relief centers to 10 p.m. at all locations. The budget currently has funding for environmental programs. The air quality programs should be prioritized in neighborhoods that are facing air pollution due to living near industrial areas and that are disproportionately impacted by redlining. The Parks and Rec, the PAC program is especially crucial for neighborhoods where we know that can support the after-school programming, and we appreciate that budget line being maintained. And lastly, for streets, we know that the Streets Ad Hoc Committee is not a fully funded mandate, and we are requesting that the Streets Department have a designated person that oversees the complete streets policies that will be worked on with this ad hoc committee. Thank you so much.
Alma is next, followed by Maisha.
Buenas tardes. Yo aquí estoy para pedirles que hemos estado luchando desde el año pasado para conseguir más recursos a nuestras comunidades.
Good afternoon. We're here to request, since the fact that we've been fighting for this since last year, to get more funding for our communities.
La ciudad nos dijo en febrero que no hay dinero disponible para aumentar el apoyo de nuestras comunidades porque la ciudad enfrenta un déficit en los próximos 2 años.
And the city told us that there was no money available to increase the support for our communities because the city was facing a deficit in the next 2 years.
Reservaron $80 millones de nosotros para ayudar y recibir el edificio el próximo año.
They reserved $180 million so that $180 million to help out the building for the following year.
Por eso es que ahora nosotros estamos pidiendo que pongan más estaciones de agua, porque hay 5, pero todas están para este lado y nosotros queremos que pongan una en Maribel, en el West.
And that's why we're here to request that you put and install more water fountains. There's 5 current ones, but and we're requesting, especially in the Maryville area,
Y que dure no a las 5 de la tarde, que lo queremos hasta las 10 de la noche para la gente que no tiene casa, lo que son las personas que están sin hogar, todos los que viven en la calle, porque también hay personas mayores.
and we're requesting for those services not to be shut off at 5, but all the way up to 10 o'clock, because there's people, homeless people, that are living out in the streets, and so there's also the elderly that need these services as well.
La ciudad no nos está ofreciendo soluciones realistas a las crisis de desalojo.
The city is not providing realistic solutions for the people that are facing evictions.
Y lo que estamos pidiendo es que identifiquen el dinero en cada fondo general para financiar estos programas permanentemente.
And what we're asking is these programs and projects so that they can be guaranteed a permanent solution.
Que expandan las organizaciones que pueden ofrecer el apoyo legal.
And for these programs to be expanded, providing legal help.
Que incluyan las personas sin estatus legal.
Including people that don't have a legal status.
Por favor, tomen estas demandas en cuenta. Gracias.
Please take these demands into consideration. Thank you.
Maisha is next, followed by Kansas.
Hello, my name is Miesha Fish, pronouns she and her. I'm with the Take Back Our Homes campaign. I'm a woman with disabilities on a fixed income. My last experience with homelessness was due to a roommate breaking the lease, and I was evicted. I receive income only once a month, and I was only given days to gather my things. It was days shy of my payday. So I lost everything except what I could carry. I'm not saying that legal representation would have assisted me in my situation. However, it definitely was guaranteed without. Shelter is not a right, it is a necessity. Thankfully, after 3.5 years wait, I was able to secure housing via voucher. I was able to attain necessary stability and continue my sobriety and give back to my community in the form of advocacy work. It is probably the reason I am so passionate about my advocacy work with organizations such as ACLU of Arizona and Unemployed Workers United and the Take Back Our Homes campaign. I have spoken in front of both Phoenix City Council and Tempe councils with regards to the source of income anti-discrimination ordinance that we were able to get passed last year. Thank you for giving me a home and the opportunity to build a better life. I am truly grateful. And I would like to add, if I may, over the last year we lost over 600 souls in our homeless community. I unfortunately knew one of those who passed from heat exposure. His name was Roosevelt. He died in his tent in the zone. I worked on a project called We Are the Homelessness. And unfortunately, he's gone. So please, if you could, water is a necessity as well as structure. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you. Kansas is next, followed by Guadalupe Vasquez Proxima.
Hi, my name is Kansas. I'm here opposing the budget because I support permanently funding the Right to Counsel program for families facing eviction. I also support putting that water station outside of the Maryville Community Center, and I support expanding heat relief center hours until 10 p.m. The facts have shown themselves to be true. In every case where a tenant had a lawyer, pretty much like pretty much every time they were able to come to some sort of deal that extended their stay at their place of residence, whether it's even a few months, like 3 months. But that makes all the difference, keeping them off the street, because they're able to make up a plan. They're able to figure out the next step instead of just being kicked out of their homes and left on the streets abandoned. Last year, the city of Phoenix spent $1 billion on the police budget. $1,000 million. And I think we can spare 80 million, 27 million, comparatively measly amounts of money to help prevent homelessness. Because, you know, nobody wants to be homeless, and nobody wants to interact with it on a daily basis. You know, our emergency services don't want to be called out to the zone, you know, who knows how many times a day, honestly. And, you know, and the police don't want to be out there sweeping and harassing homeless people in the sweltering Phoenix heat. So if we can use this money to prevent homelessness, we're helping everybody. Thank you.
Guadalupe Vasquez, próxima, and then Blanca, próxima.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Lupita y yo quiero que no le den más dinero a la policía, mejor inviertan a la comunidad, ya que yo voy a caminar por el parque y veo a los desamparados que están allí en el parque y no hay baños y también tampoco agua que les den a ellos, dice, porque ellos sí necesitan.
Good afternoon, my name is Lupita, and I don't want more money to go to the police. It'd be better if we invested in the community. I go out walking to the park, and I see everybody, in other words, the homeless that are there out in the park. There's no restrooms, and also there isn't any water for those that need it. Thank you.
Blanca, and then Maria Gonzalez.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Blanca y vivo en el Distrito 7.
Good afternoon, my name is Blanca, and I live in District 7.
Sigo y vengo y sigo insistiendo.
I continue, and I'm here continually, and I keep on insisting.
Cuando tenemos conciencia, intención y acción, podemos lograr muchas cosas.
When we have awareness, action, we can accomplish many things.
Conciencia para saber las necesidades que nuestra comunidad tiene.
Awareness so that we can know the needs that the community has.
Intención para lograr algo en bien de nuestra comunidad.
Intention so that we can accomplish something that would benefit our community.
Y actuar ante toda la crisis que se nos está presentando, no nada más en nuestras familias, a todos, creo que también a ustedes, incluyendo la crisis que se está viniendo.
And acting before the crisis that is being presented, not only our families, but I would imagine that also yours as well.
Me siento frustrada. ¿Cómo es posible que hayan en menos tiempo logrado ver 27 millones de dólares?
I feel frustrated at how it is possible that in less time, the $27 million
y transportárselo o enviárselo al departamento de policía, no estoy de acuerdo.
And giving it and providing it to the police department, I am not in agreement.
La prevención se empieza desde los cimientos. Hay que prevenir para que nuestra comunidad sea más firmes en pro de los jóvenes, para que haya menos violencia.
Prevention starts from the very foundation. We need to prevent that our community, we need for our community to be firm and having programs for our youth. That way there will be less violence.
Lo que haría yo con esos 27 millones de dólares, ¿saben qué? Ayudaría nuevamente a que mi comunidad floreciera y también ustedes se vieran beneficiados.
You know what I would do with the $27 million? I would, once again, help out my community so it would flourish, and you would also be benefited from it.
Y es en serio, se los recomiendo. A los que hacen los números, les recomiendo, váyanse a dar una vuelta al vecindario, y vean las necesidades que mi comunidad tiene. Los podemos llevar para que hagan un recorrido de la gran variedad que existe y esas necesidades, la vulnerabilidad que tienen algunas familias.
And I'm serious about this. I would recommend that you go out and go walk around our neighborhood. You yourself, you can see the needs that exist. We can go and do a walkthrough in the great community that we do have, and you'll be able to see those needs and how vulnerable these communities are.
Yo los puedo llevar a recorrer, siéntanse tranquilos de caminar por la comunidad sin llevar guardaespaldas ni policía. Van a ver que está todo sano y que la comunidad misma les va a responder.
And me, myself, I can take you through this walkthrough, and you'll feel safe and calm walking about the community without your bodyguards nor police. You'll see that everything is safe and the community will respond to you.
Tenemos una crisis inmobiliaria. El cambio climático está presente. Hay que actuar.
We do have a crisis, and this climate change is currently here. We need to make these changes.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Maria Gonzalez, and then Estela Varela. Proxima.
Good afternoon, Council. Mayor Gallego, I am here today. It's my first time, sorry, I'm a little nervous. I just come in to tell you that I am here to support the community because of the budget that is being sent out. I also hope, as a parent, you want to keep your kids safe. I have children, I have 3, and I have a little one who has autism. And I also do appreciate that you guys do have resources for these certain things. But at the same time, I would like our resources to help our homelessness and community and people that are suffering out in the streets, because we do receive a lot of trespassing. And recently, this upcoming, the beginning of the month, I have just received only this from the police. This is nothing to really help secure my family and my children. I have to go out of my way to be able to protect my children whenever somebody tries to trespass and is under the influence of illegal drugs. And my children are outside playing. Who knows what is out there? Because all the time I see is people doing illegal substances right outside my home. So it is important that things are regulated within these, crises around the world and even our, state. I think it's important for us as parents, you want to keep a safe, secure community and healthy children to grow up and not live out in the streets. As per se, I pretty much see that, nothing is ever done. We also live in a mobile home community where we're always suffering from management constantly coming up to us, telling us that what we should do, what we should not do. But when it comes to them doing the job that we pay them for, which we almost pay $1,000 for rental, and apart from that, I pay mortgage, which is over $1,500, and rental space is $1,000. So can you imagine paying almost $3,000 a month and being able to still support your children, your family, and everything in the community? Is still hard for us as a family to be able to support our children. So please be aware of these facts, that we can go through these tough times, and hope that you guys do something about this, circumstances. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Buenas tardes, concejal y alcaldesa. Mi nombre es Estela y vivo en el Distrito 5.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council members. My name is Estela, and I live in District 5.
Quiero hablar hoy sobre el presupuesto de la ciudad. Me sorprendió ver que la ciudad ha añadido 27 millones de dólares del Fondo General a la policía y sigo sorprendida.
I want to talk about the budget, the city's budget, and I'm surprised by seeing that the city added $27 million to the general fund for the police, and I continue being surprised about it.
La policía ha afirmado durante meses que no hay dinero disponible para los servicios que nuestras comunidades necesitan para estar seguras y saludables.
Our police have affirmed that for months there hasn't been any monies available for services that our communities need so that we can be safe and healthy.
Pero de alguna manera, en las últimas semanas, la ciudad ha encontrado 27 millones de dólares para despilfarrar en la policía.
But some way, somehow, in the last few weeks, the city has found $27 million so that they can use on the police.
Financiar a la policía no nos da seguridad y no responde a las necesidades de nuestras comunidades.
Financing the police doesn't give us any safety and does not respond to our needs that our communities have.
Pido que la ciudad retire los 27 millones de dólares de la policía y invierta ese dinero en una estación de agua fuera del centro comunitario Maryville.
I ask that the city withdraw the $27 million for the police and invest that money in a water station outside the community center in Maryville.
Y que amplíe el horario de los centros de ayuda contra el calor hasta las 10 de la noche en todos los lugares.
And expand the heat control help up to 10 o'clock in all places.
Pido que la ciudad amplíe y financie permanentemente el apoyo jurídico a las personas que se enfrentan a desalojos, incluyendo personas sin estatus legal, ya que también nosotros pagamos taxes.
And I request that legal services, permanent ones, be provided to people that are facing eviction, including people that don't have a legal status because, well, we do pay taxes as well.
Nuestra gente necesita inversiones en su bienestar, en estar saludables y seguros en comunidades seguras.
Our people need investment for their well-being. That way they can be healthy and safe and be safe in our own communities.
No necesitamos que le den más dinero a la policía, ni necesitamos policía porque la policía no es seguridad.
We don't need for you to give more money to the police, nor do we need police because police is not safety.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Kieran Bianca Proxima.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council members. My name is Kiran Shah, and I am a Tempe resident. I'm here to support the Take Back My Home campaign and to be the voice for the voiceless people. I am here to support the one second, let me get right to counsel policy, which is very important before any evictions. Housing should not be a privilege, but a human right. And USA is world's most powerful and affluent country, and its people are known for their generous hearts and service to humanity. So homelessness, in my opinion, should not be tolerated here, especially seeing seniors and veterans on the street is really heartbreaking. So I would really request this House to approve the right to counsel policy and provide necessary services to prevent homelessness and evictions. Thank you.
Bianca is next, followed by Evelyn.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Bianca Romain, and I am here con el concilio para pedir por favor por ayuda para las personas que están afuera de los freeways, que veo muchas personas que en las entradas y salidas del freeway pidiendo ayuda. También queremos que pongan estaciones afuera del edificio del centro comunitario Maribel, que extiendan en el servicio de apoyo de calor hasta las 10 de la noche a las personas que no tienen casa para que puedan estar seguras del calor. Queremos que financien permanentemente un programa de servicio legal para las personas que sufren desalojo, incluyendo personas sin estatutos legales. Y no queremos que los 27,000 millones que vayan a la policía, porque ellos no son muestra de seguridad. Gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is Bianca Romain, and I come to this council here to request, please, that you help out the people that are at the freeway on-ramps and also asking for help. We want these water stations outside of the city buildings, outside of the Maryville Community Center, and for services that provide heat help. We want those services to be extended until 10 at night for these people that are homeless and they need to be safe and out of the heat. We also want a permanent solution, financing for a program for legal services for people that are being evicted, including people that are not here legally. And we don't want the $27 million to go to the police because they are not our safety. Thank you.
Evelyn is next, followed by Olivia.
Good afternoon, Council, and Kate, Mayor Gallegos. My name is, first of all, they call me Mom. My given name was Evelyn Larson. My last name is Kakache. I have a disorder, an anxiety disorder, and I apologize. My last experience, the last 2 years of being in my home for 14 years, I've personally seen and known 10 or more evictions in my apartment complex that has misplaced them or made them homeless. It made me want to be a voice to take back our homes. I heard it via internet. Because my apartment is one of the older, not remodeled apartments, I knew I was next. I apologize for my mismanagement of paperwork. In the experience that I've had along with that, of ever being evicted left and right for a miskeeping of bookwork, there's been 3 or more management companies that has managed the tides, known throughout Arizona. A monopoly of people, very influential landlords and corporates, big corporates, hold a power in this community of housing. And I was left to fight alone because I was next. There's the 5-day notice. I was nervous. 14 years. I didn't want to be displaced. And Evelyn, go to court. I was all alone. I tried to find that legal advice that was helping me. She wanted me to sign their non-disclosure agreement. I wanted a voice. I didn't want to be hushed. I want to be here for Take Back Our Homes. And council, this is where you can step in. I didn't have the right and was told by my legal advice, sign this NDA. I wouldn't do it.
Thank you. You did great.
And I want the council to be heard. You have that proper defense to be able to make sure money is dedicated to this budget for right to counsel before eviction. Thank you.
Olivia is next, followed by Sebastian.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Liv. I'm a resident of Tempe, but I'm in Phoenix frequently for both work and life. The Council finding $27 million additional dollars to add to the police's already overinflated budget is really an affront to our community's needs. I reject that $27 million going to police from the general fund. And what we, the community, are asking for is truly the minimum of what the city should be providing to keep residents and neighbors housed, hydrated, and safe from heat. While we see that in the budget has some housing services and a few more water fountains, special funding or seeking grants, which is what I heard last time I was here, was discussion of grants for additional water stations, that doesn't cut it when it comes to the most basic of human needs: water, shelter, and heat relief. The city allowed over 600 preventable heat deaths last summer alone, and 5 water stations for 10,000 of our neighbors who are unhoused is a choice that the city is choosing to perpetuate. And it's not what your residents are telling you up here, telling you that we need. Our community's actual needs are being directly thwarted by the police budget of nearly $1 billion, funding that should actually go towards funding eviction, legal services, and prevention, including for those who are of multiple statuses, and water, specifically for the water station outside of the Maryville Community Center, as well as additional heat relief stations. The police do not keep us safe. All the times I've been here, I've heard hours worth of testimony of your community telling you that police do not keep us safe. We don't need them, we don't trust them, and they inflict violence and death upon us and our neighbors. So no, we don't want $27 million additional dollars to go to the police. Fund our essential services instead, and I hope that this council will make the right choice by funding eviction prevention services, water, and heat relief.
Sebastian is next, followed by Arnab.
Hi, good afternoon, members of council and mayor. My name is Sebastian del Portillo. I'm the campaign manager with Take Back Our Homes, and I do want to start by thanking city staff for all their effort in creating this budget. I also want to say thank you to the council members who have been communicating with us and working with us to figure out a right to counsel program. But seeing this new allotment from the general funds for the most inflated part of the budget is really disappointing when so much else needs to be funded in our communities. And I think that's plain to see for all of Phoenix. While there's a lot of good in the budget, it's still really far from what we need. And our Take Back Our Homes campaigns is asking you all to commit general funds to a right to counsel program that would keep thousands of families in their homes by simply giving them access to legal representation. We know that something like this levels the playing field in a really unfair eviction process. And similar programs that are around like this one in Pima see favorable outcomes for tenants 50% of the time. Through this year's budget process, we saw that asking for more funds for legal assistance and ultimately a right to counsel program was the most requested item in the budget cycle. So again, I fail to understand what's happening here. We need general funds for these programs permanently, not single-time allotments. I think it's great that we have this ARPA money, but our communities are seeking a fiscal commitment from the city's treasury. These COVID funds are gonna run out, so what are we gonna do then? So we're in full support of the Pueblo's budget demands. And the Pueblo's budget demands are pretty simple: more water stations, expand for relief centers, get additional money to where it needs to go. And I really, really hope to be working with you all to figure out a right to counsel program that's robust, well-funded, and keeps families in their homes. Thank you.
Arnab is next, followed by Allison.
Hello, my name is Arnab Kabir and I oppose the budget. The last time I was here a couple weeks ago, I was advocating for redirecting the unnecessary boost to the police budget towards more heat relief and the installation of more water fountains in the city, while simultaneously avoiding eye contact with the police officers in the room. After an hour of moving testimony about how more funding, both divested from the police and invested in community programs, would greatly improve conditions for those most in need, you, the council, completely ignored any of that discourse and spent 20 minutes talking about only water fountains, which I've got to say is peak politics. Why we're increasing funding to a department that is still currently under investigation by the federal DOJ for wrongdoings against the most vulnerable of us, regardless of drug status, is beyond me. It's like sticking a fistful of cat food into a dark cage before checking whether the thing in the cage is a kitten or a cougar. And characterizing drug use as a crime instead of a medical condition doesn't reduce drug use, it ignores it. Permanent funds need to be allocated to the right to counsel because a victim of eviction's relationship to the legal system should be through a lawyer, not a policeman. We need more water stations like in Maryvale. We need longer heat relief hours. And one last thing to the audience. I want you to pay attention to what our dear council members have to say after everyone has spoken, because what they ask is indicative of their priorities. If they completely ignore a pivotal point brought up by speakers, such as the redirection of police funding, they don't care what you have to say about it. And that is not representation. Thank you.
Allison is next, followed by Carrie.
Hi, my name is Allison, and I live and work in the districts 4 and 7, and I'm here in favor of the Pueblo's budget and Take Back Our Homes. Public safety is extremely important to me and members of my community, and public safety to us does not look like it's reflected in our city's budget. We don't believe that allocating more money to our police is going to help keep our people safe. What will help keep our people safe is giving them access to public resources like water and shelter and legal assistance in case of eviction. So please, thank you for hearing us all out and allowing us to speak our minds.
Carrie is next, followed by Catherine.
Hi, my name is Carrie Lorraine from District 4, and I want to ask each of you, I'm hoping that you will look at us, Laura Pastor, Deborah Stark, Ann O'Brien, Jim Waring, Betty Guardado, Kevin Robinson, Carlos Galinda Elvira, and Keisha Hodge Washington. Why did you want to be on this council? Why did you want to be mayor? I thought you wanted to do important work. I don't think you just want to look like you're doing important work. You know what we need. I know you know what we need. We need housing, transportation, infrastructure, medical care, obviously including mental health care and treatment education, emergency crisis care and employment. We all know the absence of these causes crisis. Why are we creating a sick community? Why are we creating more targets for more people with more guns? Why are we giving more guns to people to target us? At what point does more police become a prison state? At what point, how many police makes us a prison? I'm just wondering if we looked at other countries and thought, should we be like them? Which countries are those? I would like to know who you are serving. I would like to know if you care about us. I believe that you do, but your actions by giving $27 million more to an agency that already has $1 billion is not taking care of us. Your job is to serve our needs. Your job is to create a thriving community. And there are a lot of us who are asking you to serve us. We are gathering more. I know you see us. Please stop giving money to the police and give it to our communities instead. We've asked for a water station outside the Maryville Community Center. We've asked you to expand the heat relief center hours until 10 p.m. We asked you to permanently fund legal assistance for people who are being evicted, including people without legal status. And we ask for you to stop arming people who want to kill us and imprison us. I don't think that's the point of our life.
Catherine is next, followed by Rebecca.
My name is KD. I am 26. I've been living in District 4 for 13 years, working here for 11. I live with my mom, who is on disability. When I was 12, my mother was assaulted by her ex-husband and his girlfriend at the time. I witnessed the entire altercation, and after picking pieces of glass out of her back, I called the police. For some reason, I expected superheroes to come and save us. Instead, after very brief conversations with the adults involved, my mom was shoved into a squad car and taken to jail, while I was left in the custody of my abusive father. Because cops are abusive and they side with abusers, they don't speak the language of a disabled single mother. They didn't care about her side of the story. In 2020, when the world fell into chaos and my mom struggled to make sense of it all and try to hold on to her home, she failed to hold on to her sanity. And when she was so overcome with anxiety and experienced a mental break that put her into the most vulnerable position, I didn't know who to call. If I called 911, I knew that that horrible memory of being arrested would push through her broken mind and put her into an even more frightening state. But who else was there to call? My money from working nearly half my life goes to that simple 3-digit number that I was taught to remember as a child in case I ever needed help. But we don't need that kind of help that they give. We don't need you to invest in and prioritize the police. You need to invest in and prioritize the people, the disabled single mothers who raise good, hardworking kids. You have proved that your priorities do not align with those of the people. The people want safety and freedom and health care. All you give us is fear, expensive fear. Please don't invest another $27 million in fear and invest in our health and safety instead. This is the desert, and every year it's only getting hotter. We don't need more guns in this Wild West. We need water. Thank you.
Rebecca is next, followed by Isabel.
My name is Rebecca Denis. I live in District 7. I would really appreciate if you all look at me and acknowledge my words while I'm speaking. Often you don't. I oppose this budget. I oppose the $27 million increase from the general fund to the police. Stop giving them our money our communities need to be safe without the risk of violence and brutality. I demand that the budget include a water station outside the Maryville Community Center. Please expand the heat relief hours until 10 p.m. at all locations and permanently fund legal assistance for people who are being evicted, including people without legal status. Pretty much everybody here today has had an issue with housing, and I would bet that most people in Phoenix are struggling. It's extremely discouraging to consistently keep showing up here begging this city and this council to put human life first and prioritize the basic needs of the constituents of this city. But I'm here and I'm gonna keep showing up because I love this city that I grew up in, and I love the community that raised me, and I wanna see them thrive. That community was poor and working class, Black and brown people, immigrants, disabled folks, elderly, even addicts, folks that needed resources and often didn't have them, but we showed up for each other and we provided for each other, but we deserved more. I want to see not only them, but all people in this city thrive, and the way to make sure that we have a healthy city is to center the most vulnerable and address the root causes of issues as a priority. I want to speak to the gentleman that came up here earlier and talked about La Pradera Park. I also grew up in that neighborhood. My grandmother lives in District 5. I am there almost every single day because at 92 years old, she needs an immense amount of care. I had birthday parties at La Pradera Park. I know what it's like to drive in the neighborhood that I grew up in and see people homeless and see addicts on the street. My loved ones are addicts. They're in prison. They are homeless. I can tell you right now, criminalization, more policing, the threat of going to jail has done nothing to help them, has done nothing to deter them from using drugs, because the root causes of people that use substances is trauma, and we need to heal that trauma, and that comes in the form of resources. Thank you.
Isabel is next, followed by Laura.
My name is Isabel and I live in District 7. I'm here to express my disappointment at the city's 2024-2025 budget. It's frustrating, infuriating, it's heartbreaking to know that police have been allocated an additional $27 million from the general fund, which is unrestricted taxpayer dollars that should be used to house unsheltered people and legally protect tenants who are facing eviction. In this proposed budget that you all are voting on today, we don't see any permanent funding for the Emergency Eviction Legal Services Program that many people asked for to legally support tenants whose rights are being violated and who are at risk of becoming homeless. I'm here as a Phoenix resident and as part of the Pueblo's budget campaign to demand that City Council stop giving police the money that my community needs to be safe and healthy. We are asking the city to permanently fund legal assistance for people who are being evicted, including people without legal status. The city must also provide protection from extreme heat to unsheltered community members. Immediate ways the city can do this is by putting a water station outside the Maryville Community Center and expanding heat relief center hours to 10 p.m. at all locations. Stop giving our tax dollars to police. Invest it back into us and our neighborhoods to address root causes and meet people's immediate needs.
Laura is next, followed by Alma. Would it be better to bring her a microphone, or? She's coming, okay. Just for folks, if people would prefer, we can sometimes bring a microphone, especially if there's a mobility.
Hi, my name is Laura Alicia Ramirez. I am a veteran of the United States of America. Since I was a little girl, I wanted to succeed and be the best that I could be. And after going to ASU, I decided to join the military and defend my country. I come here because I love Arizona. Not only Arizona, I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. I could have done like many others that run away or run to nice neighborhoods. We own our house. It is ours already. We lived over there for 35 years in Maryville. And the number one thing I want to talk to is Carlos. You are my district. And I ask you to look between Thomas and Encano on 55th Avenue. I've called many times to the police and been to different meetings because people speed really bad there. They've already ran over 4 of my dogs, 1 of my cats. They've crashed into my truck, totaled it while I was parked outside, and has been 2 car accidents, flipped and everything. I have reached out to get help and I don't get it. That is the number one thing I want to talk about. Please help me with that. I already talked to you already before. I haven't seen any change, any speed radar cars there, any speed bumps. I've tried. Second of all, with the people that are sitting here in the council, remember, you guys are elected by us, the people. Please give us respect. I've been sitting there, we're looking at you guys looking at a computer. I don't know what you guys are doing there. But remember, you are elected by us, and we will go out there and we will knock on those doors in the heat to get you out of those chairs. Do not underestimate the power of the people. Like I said, I joined the United States Army to make sure that I defended my country. And now it's time to defend my city, my state. A little bit of change creates a big change. Since I was a little girl, I wanted to create a big change. I wanted to change the world. And now I see that maybe I just need to change my city. Let's make it a better place. I also asked for water fountains. The police, I know there's good ones out there. I've met you guys. But a lot of bad ones have been tainting your name. We've given enough money to the police. Do whatever you need to do. Reform.
Thank you.
Train, whatever you need to do with that money. The money that we keep giving you could be going to other things to help our community, especially in Maryville. There was at one point where our community was a great community. Thank you.
Alma is next, followed by Michelle Ashton. All right, we'll go online. We get Alma? We got Alma, okay, twice, okay. Sorry, we had one person who registered 3 times, so a lot of strong feelings. Michelle will be next online. Michelle will be followed by Cindy Ramirez.
Hello, can you hear me?
Not super well, but a little bit.
Okay, I hope that's better.
That is.
Okay, thank you. I'm coming to you today to request that you guys fund our right to counsel. The eviction process as it currently stands is unjust. It's a business venture to profit off of it, for landlords to profit off of it. And if what I'm saying sounds outrageous, let me just examine one of the financial matters of one eviction. I have a 63-year-old veteran who had a monthly rent of $13.40 a month, and then after eviction was owing $6,049.76. Now, if an eviction process is meant to remove a person from that dwelling, what on earth do we have any reason to now put something on a person's record that will not allow them to find housing after they've been evicted? Furthermore, the trauma and everything else that they go through, losing all their belongings. I thought the purpose was simply for the landlord to remove the person out of the dwelling. And yet it is so much more, so much more. The landlord profits enormous off of a tenant who no longer has any place they can call safe to live. We need the right to counsel, and it should be given to us. In state statute, I believe 41-1491.32, it states that on application by a person alleging a discriminatory housing practice or by a person against whom a discriminatory housing practice is alleged, the Superior Court may appoint an attorney for a person. Now, it also is in federal statute that anybody indigent would have the right to counsel. Well, everybody qualifies as indigent when they have no money to pay their rent.
Thank you. Cindy is next, followed by Christian.
Hi, yes. My name is Cindy Ramirez, and I'm here today just to let you know what's going on in the rights. That's to make sure that tenants facing eviction has some representation. I was in my home for 14 years and was put out because of a rent increase. I was given 5 days to pay, to go to court. I went to court, and the proceedings were over so fast that I didn't even know what happened until I received paperwork stating that I now owe $8,000 if I'm to stay in my home. And you know what? I'm going to get off the script right now. I wrote this down, but I'm going to talk to my heart. Evelyn that came and spoke, I am that senior person that she knew that got evicted. I had one of two choices: go back to my abuser or be homeless. I went back to my abuser. So you tell me being beaten by somebody or being beaten by the system is not the same, because it is. And by the grace of God, yes, there were shelters. Thank you, council people, for putting that in place so I didn't have to get a cart and push it around the streets of Phoenix. I'm sorry, I'm going to calm down for a minute because I'm very upset right now. Did you know, and I don't know if you do because I don't see anything being put in place for it, so let me just educate you on something. Did you know senior citizens are the highest rate of homelessness you have here in Phoenix? I've done the research. I hope somebody in your cabinet does the research. All I'm asking is, you know what? When I had that management company go in there, they didn't show up. My manager wasn't there. You know who was there? Their attorneys. Who did I have? I had me. And it went so fast, I didn't even know what happened. So if I could not, and I wasn't paying my rent because I'm a deadbeat. I did not pay my rent because they gave me such a large $500 increase in my rent that I was unable to pay it. So my choices were grab a shopping cart, hit the streets of Phoenix and get a cardboard box, or move in with my abuser. I moved in with my abuser. I'm 61 years old. I should not have to live like this. You guys were elected into office because we voted you in. Now it's time for you. Come on, Kate. It's time for you to stand up and take care of us. I am tired of city officials stating, we're here for you. We got you. We're going to take care of you. But as soon as you get in that office,
Thank you.
where's our...
Christian is next, followed by Bronny.
Good afternoon. My name is Christian Soto, and I'm here to take Back Our Homes campaign. I've been living here in Arizona for the past 20 years. Growing up here, I always faced a lot of instability in regarding to housing. We never stayed in one home for too long, and it was a fight to keep the lights on all the time. Our rent was always too high, and too many of my friends and family have gone through the eviction process here. At one point, me and my family had to move out of state because we could no longer afford to stay here in Arizona. It was extremely difficult and hard for my family and I to always try to survive. After a year, we finally decided to come back, and even though the housing issues aren't any better, this is our home, and that's why we're advocating for the investment into affordable housing. We have one of the fastest eviction processes in the country. Not having an attorney is a huge factor in this problem and leaves tenants with no protections against the evictions that may not be lawful. Rent control and strong tenant protections like a right to cancel can help slow the crisis down by keeping more families in their homes. And we're also demanding to stop giving so much money to police that could really benefit our community more. More must be done in order to ensure families and neighbors stay housed in communities to which they belong to. Thank you.
Thank you. Bronny is next.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, hi, my name is Franny Cudjoe. I'm here to support the right to cancel. Just because that's a right that we was born with, really. It's almost like a birthright. I was illegally evicted. And yes, right here in Maricopa County, Central City South. It was the landlord's issues, making fraudulent document, whatever, ledger, whatever. On the day that my mom passed, it was the other tenant. I came home and this notice talking about $5,000. And I'm knowing I'm paying rent every month for the past 4 years. I just came out of homelessness. I'm a super fabulous volunteer for City of Phoenix. Since I was 14, I am a senior now. So they know me well, even at Plea. That was one amazing organization that I don't have a problem volunteering. So I don't do the City of Phoenix. I like to volunteer. I don't want to get paid. Even though I'm low income, living in public housing for the first time. Well, I experienced homelessness because of this. Without counsel, I was never even asked, do I owe? It's on tape in court. And on my memorandums, I said I do not owe. The landlord made up all kinds of stuff. But I didn't have a right to speak. So I did an appeal. Because the judge just ruled in that person's defense, and I paid all this money living in Central City South in public housing, that revitalization unit that the City of Phoenix owned. It ain't but one property. It's public housing that City of Phoenix still owns, so it's not hard to figure out which one in Central City South. Right behind these courtrooms and jailhouses. I worked a lot volunteering with Chicana Por La Casa, emergency shelters, CAS, PLE, you name it.
Thank you. Thanks so much for your volunteering for our team. Have we missed anyone to register to speak? All right, we have not. All right, council member comments. All right, roll call. Councilwoman Hodge Washington.
Thank you, Mayor.
I just thought it might be helpful, I would ask the city manager to kind of go over some of the things that we've heard today and address them, specifically the 27 million to police. Can you once again explain how that was derived?
Yes, Mayor, Member Councilwoman Hodge Washington. As we talked 2 weeks ago, several things have put additional upward pressure on our general fund operating budget. The primary big drivers, obviously, are the cost of our employees has increased exponentially as a result of our class and compensation study, just to make sure that we compensate our employees with what the market pays for the jobs that we do. That added about $52 million worth of cost to the general fund based on our analysis that we walked you through when we presented the multi-year forecast. We also had an increase in pension costs of about $30 million. We also had significant increases in our vehicle costs. The cost of vehicles have gone up exponentially, which is why we opted this year to move the cost of our firefighter vehicles, our fire apparatus, our ladder trucks and ambos to capital funds rather than the general fund operating budget. So we moved $21 million from fire's operating budget to their capital budget in this upcoming budget, 24-25, as well as in 25-26, totaling $42 million. So the largest driver, honestly, for police is the cost of our employees as well as the pension costs. We've also, some of the things we've heard today about water fountains, we have added some water fountains. Obviously, there's always room for improvement. We do have 384 water fountains throughout the city. About 186 of those are in city parks, and the rest would be in city facilities. Most of them are chilled. About 290 of them are chilled water fountains. We are continuing to look for additional grants and funding opportunities to provide more chilled water stations throughout the course of the city. And we've invested a lot in homelessness and affordable housing, and we'll continue doing that. We've reallocated ARPA funds as we've gone through our strategic plan every 6 months. Our next reallocation exercise will happen this summer, and we will look to continue funding those things that some of the folks have mentioned today. But the primary thing that we've looked to sustain are the costs of focusing on and serving our unsheltered population.
And then just one more follow-up. You got to the other item that I was going to ask you. So I just want to talk a little bit about the tenant eviction assistance program, which is the city's collaboration with community legal services to provide the right to counsel to individuals facing eviction. The city has been doing that since July of 2020, and we have a budget allocated for that correctly? Correct, sorry.
We do. It's funded primarily through general fund and CDBG funds, if I recall correctly.
And we, like any other program, we are monitoring that to see if, because one of the issues that was brought to our subcommittee, Economic Development and Housing Subcommittee, and one of the things I specifically asked the department to go back and consider is understanding what it would look like to expand that and what it looks like. So I just want those in the assembly to recognize that it's definitely something that is moving forward in the process. It may not be implemented here in this budget, but it is moving forward. And then my other question is, at this juncture, if it comes a situation where we see a depletion of the allocated funds for the TEEP, there is going to be opportunity to reallocate additional funds if necessary. We can make a supplement.
That is true. That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Mayor? Oh.
Councilman Galindo Elvira.
Thank you, Mayor. Ma'am, I wanted the veteran who spoke toward the end. First of all, thank you for your service. And immediately following this meeting, I would like to sit down with you if you have time, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Roll call.
Galindo Elvira.
Yes.
Guardado.
Yes.
Hodge Washington.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
Thank you. That is our only agendized item. We are adjourned.
Got Waring. First.
Just so you're aware, the governor vetoed that settlement agreement bill.
Which one?
House Bill 2775, 22.
And lead in group work when necessary, but she's good at allowing other people to also contribute, be a part of decision making, problem solving.